European Union officials are reportedly ready to trigger a termination clause in the Brexit deal, according to a political risk expert. Senior EU officials are reportedly very tired and are on the brink of caving in over the Northern Ireland Protocol, which aims at preventing a hard border on the island of Ireland. According to the European Managing Director of geopolitical risk firm Eurasia Group, Mujtaba Rahman, European Union officials are clashing with the UK government, whom he says simply wants to fight every day. His commentary comes after the bloc confirmed plans to table new proposals aimed at resolving ongoing difficulties earlier this week. European Commissioner Maros Sefcovic promised far-reaching proposals addressing the problems during a speech to the International Institute of Economic Affairs, IIEA, on the implementation of the protocol, where he said, "A lot has been said by the UK politicians about the possibility of the UK triggering Article 16. I do not think that this has been helpful. It distracts us from working together to find solutions." In a series of tweets to his 28.2k followers, Mr. Rahman discussed the EU's proposals for addressing issues in Northern Ireland and referred to them as substantive and far-reaching. He emphasized that Mr. Sefcovic and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen played a key role in orchestrating the plans, saying that it has taken a lot of time and leadership from the pair to get Commission services and member states into line. He claims that while European Union capitals haven't seen the final package and all the details, they've been socialized with what's coming and have been working collaboratively on an effort. Mr. Rahman states that this EU unity will be a key weapon in any ensuing standoff and that their ambitious proposals have been driven by two driving forces. He says their ambitions have been firstly driven by a desire to institute practical fixes to improve experience of citizens and businesses in Northern Ireland, and then added, but also, importantly, tactics. The expert speculates that the approach provides ammunition if the government rejects the proposals, as it will be easier to rally member states behind a tough response, as the EU Commission will be able to credibly claim it went as far as it could. He also references the European Court of Justice within his commentary, which he claims the EU will offer no concessions on, something he deems unsurprising. He states that as a result of this action, senior EU officials are resigned to a fairly hostile response from Government Minister David Frost, which he speculates may come via a 16 notification or legal limbo with ongoing negotiations and grace periods, where protocol isn't applied. He claims that the European Commission has already considered such a factor though, and are clear-sighted about where both could lead in response to Ireland's place in the single market being called into question. He states that he fears that the government are massively underestimating the likely EU response in these circumstances where there would be growing pressure to institute checks and controls between Ireland and France and Ireland and other EU member states. He also speculates over the divisive nature of the actions by saying no German Chancellor or French President would side with HMG putting a member state in such an untenable situation. The very purpose of single market is to eliminate barriers between members. If UK's actions call that into question, the EU's response could be much more forceful, he continued. The political risk expert speculates that retaliation could come in the form of suspension of the entire zero-tariff zero-quota deal, which he says could be enacted through unilateral triggering a termination clause in the EU-UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement, TCA. Mr. Rahman writes that many people in Brussels think a big simple move like this would be needed for the UK to finally understand that this is existential. He calls how during Brexit negotiations a series of sequencing took place, including a withdrawal agreement, Irish border and trade talks, which were used precisely because the EU wanted to ensure it locked down a solution to the Irish border. He states that if such an agreement is currently being called into question by the government, led by Boris Johnson, then many think the TCA should be too. In the final tweets in the thread, Mr. Rahman states that with neither of those agreements in place the politics won't be easy. He says that many in Brussels rightly fear that once A16 is triggered, no British PM, let alone Boris Johnson, will be able to stand protocol back up. With it will disappear the possibility of a negotiated solution to the Irish border, before adding, senior EU officials are very tired. They think HMG simply wants to fight every day. Still, the EU will assume more risk and further bend the single market for the UK next week. HMG may not bite. but they should do so with an appreciation of the full consequences that then might follow.